Yeah, since then I always progress with my no pins, so it's like adjustment of technique, leg kicks, etc. So I will see after August as well. I will see how it goes. Before August, I focus on the pool. After, I think I'm in this range, like 103, 104, 105 plus, and we'll see how it goes. It's
was
definitely.
Was it Ida or Simus?
This was.
Simus, right?
Where was it? It was in Sharm el Sheikh, right? I think it was Ida.
Oh.
It was Ida.
We'll be watching you.
We need some cameras, like, because that's the problem with the record with Peter. There was no dive. Now there is not so many competitions with dive. It's only World Championship.
Only World Championship, pretty much.
It was on vertical blue as well before, but this year there is no camera in vertical blue.
No,
So it's like
sponsorship
it's almost hard to decide where should I do this, because I don't really want to do this in the competition without camera, because then you don't have footage, you don't have like much content to share.
Mythicus.
I thought I heard
Mythicus, maybe. But again, in the World Championships, it's like you need to play it safer.
Yeah.
Any attempt, do you plan to attempt the 136 free immersion again that you attempted?
I will. Yeah, this was an interesting event last year.
It was.
I was actually. It was one of the fastest progression to 130. I think I got to 130 in 4 days.
I remember you saying that you really compressed down. You were
I
training.
was supposed to go there for 10 days, and then I cut the trip short. I arrived late and I left early just because of some other things. Like, and there was a mistake. So instead of like adapting,
you learned.
Yeah, I was impressed that I was able to do 130 free immersion like on the day 4 with 1 day rest, which was like 3 days of adaptation. Yeah. But I'll try that. Free immersion. In my books, free immersion is the last priority because it's just, I think other disciplines are cooler.
I thought it was very impressive watching it for the fact that this is the longest, probably time breath hold a human has ever done in competition, from like in depth wise. So I was very impressed just to observe. I don't know what was the total time, but I think it was somewhere near 5 minutes.
It's about 5 minutes.
And this after
That's not
5 minutes. Holy. But that was very impressive.
I'm inspired.
Did you like whales? How was the whale?
Actually, I think he also tried to squeeze in some whales in Dominica at the time.
Yes, we were trying
was
to go
pretty
out
hard
and
to find whales.
we couldn't find them after noon. Yeah, but if you want to find whales, Dominica is nearby, so you can try to find them.
You didn't do your whale call with the fin? Fin flap?
You can try. You can. No, you do the group
Is that a
call.
Does that work?
That's what I do for old fish.
Go ahead, man.
Is there any specific wildlife that you haven't seen yet that you would like to see? In the wild?
Orcas. Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to see orcas.
Sea of Cortez, they have it.
I saw one.
They have it. It's just
From my
not easy to find.
Yeah.
Just take a sailboat and go to the Strait of Gibraltar, and you will find them if you don't
I
want
think
to.
more north.
We had them in
Right,
San
'cause they're
Diego last year at
crashing
Christmas, and the day after Christmas, they were
Yeah.
right there at the Hoy shores. We actually came in, and there was divers saying that if we saw the orcas, because they were out where we were line diving.
How
I saw
about
one off the
narwhals?
Norway?
I saw one
Narwhals.
off the insurance. I saw an orca insurance.
Oh,
Yeah, the unicorns.
The narwhals are cool as well.
I don't think that would be very impressive.
What's your favorite?
Walrus. I did die with walruses. Little scary.
What's your
Much
favorite
larger.
moments?
Favorite
What's your favorite moments in the down there?
underwater?
Yeah.
Underwater is usually the most relaxing moment in the free fall, right? Because in all the other parts of the dive, you have to work on the start of the dive, on the ascent as well. You have to actively work to get up. So the free fall is the most relaxing one, for sure.
Can we peer pressure you into wearing a mermaid tail?
That's the second time I heard
And having a picture.
this.
Molchanov mermaid.
Maybe it'll be the manatee tail.
I need to
How about
desi-
that?
I
A
need to-
manatee tail.
I need to design myself. If I
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll collaborate. We'll see. We'll design mermaid tail together.
Let's do it.
Monofin is close enough.
One of it is.
Close enough, yeah.
Go to Norway if you want to see orcas.
I heard about the orcas in Norway. It's just very short
Yeah,
Window.
window.
Puget Sound is pretty popular
Yeah.
for that too in Washington.
yeah. Oh, because they've got their own down one island.
Yes, yes.
But the visibility is like 3 feet.
Yeah.
So.
You want to see them somewhere. La Paz will be the best, right? See, of course.
Yeah.
Mag
Yeah, if you get
Bay.
lucky.
Mag Bay is
Mag Bay.
pretty good. Mag Bay's pretty good, and then I mean there are orcas. They're where they want to be, but they occasionally get seen in Los Cabos when you're line diving. They'll just cruise on by. Pretty scary when you're underwater. Shocks you when you open your eyes at 30 meters and see an orca.
Who likes more training part of freediving? Let's see who's more for interaction with wildlife, who's more for fast, 50, like
Interaction with
who tries more,
wildlife.
who likes to train more than like adventures and wildlife.
Yeah, it is.
Who likes adventures and wildlife more than training?
Oh yeah,
No, now you said you like
so I can
training
be
more than wild.
comfortable there.
Right, exactly.
Oh,
That is wildlife.
I
Yeah,
trained
yeah.
so I
But we can
can
do like more.
But I enjoy both.
to kill the wildlife.
I enjoy it after.
And then
enjoy eating it.
Just enjoy it there. Like,
Johnny, he becomes one with the wild.
Yes.
Wildlife becomes.
They were still in there. I just enjoyed them. We just.
Silly question.
Yeah.
Do you actually are you actually in the water every day, like regularly?
Well, pretty much almost every day is, if it's not open water, it's the pool for
It's like
training.
every day.
Yeah.
Wow. Like how many hours?
It can be one day off per week or for 2 weeks.
Wow.
But,
When,
yeah, my rough schedule is like 10 plus minus 2 trainings per week, like both pool and or like both water sessions and dry sessions. It can be like 5, 6, sometimes 7 sessions per week in the water, pool or depth, and it's strength. And some sessions for endurance, for cardio, some for like I do Pilates as well. So I mix strength and Pilates
Wow.
and cardio. Yeah.
Yoga?
Yoga, not much lately. I did a lot of yoga in the beginning.
He's ready for a mermaid.
I did yoga like first 5 years of being into freediving. Then I switched to barbell and dumbbells and like strength. So to compensate a little bit, because I was getting almost too flexible, and then my back started to hurt. So I was like, okay, I have to do strength now, and I switched to strength. And then I just balance it. I don't lose flexibility much. I still can. I don't want excessive flexibility, because to swim you need some flexibility, but you don't need all the splits and everything. So
when
Do you do dry equalization training?
no, acquisition I don't do at all. Like 0.
Really?
Yeah. I don't. It just already it works all the time, and that's it. Like I don't need to.
We're not jealous at all.
We did like you until that. My fault for asking the question. Just try again and lie to us.
Okay, I can tell you how I learned mouthfeel. Do you want to hear that?
Go for it.
Yeah. You like me a little less. But in the beginning, when mouthfeel was just introduced to freediving, 2003, 4, 5, there was no much mouthfeel before that. It was mostly frenzel. People try to really like reverse pack all little bits of air to frenzel, and I was able to get to 73 meters, like with trying to frenzel and right in my ears, and it was not easy, but it gave a lot of awareness of all these little bits of air you have, and then it was really easy after this to learn mouthfeel, because you just have so much awareness of muscles trying to do frenzel very deep, and the way I learned mouthfeel was in this World Championship in Nice. The first individual World Championship was in Nice in France. It was like a cradle of modern freediving. Aida was born there in 1992. There was some team world championships, but then individual was 2005. The pool was in Swiss, in Lausanne. No, Lausanne, yeah, it was there. And then
Lugano?
Lausanne. I think so.
Lausanne.
By the lake, it was by the lake. I think so, it was Lausanne, yes. And the depth was in Nice. And I haven't heard about Malfield yet, but then it was just like thing in discussion between freedivers. Some like it was just shared mouth to mouth, and I was fuck. Word of mouth.
Word of mouth.
That's it.
I was wondering why you were giggling. There's a lot more parts of the story.
Yeah,
Tell us how you learned
I
it.
won't share this part of the story. It's something different. Forget about it. But anyway, I was an elevator, and I was with one of the Japanese freedivers, and he told me like, "Have you heard about this Malfield?" And I said, "No, tell me." And he like, "Just do this." And, oh, that's how it works. I repeated it, and it was riding from like first floor to the third floor. That's it. That's how I learned Malfield. Then next day, I went to the training, and I did the Malfield, and it worked. And I progressed from 73 to 83 in like one day. And then it wasn't good because after the World Championship, I competed in another competition, Dachau, and I thought I can now go 90. And then I didn't realize that monofin disciplines is so much faster than free immersion. So I was unlucky that the first discipline in this competition was free immersion, and it was a very long dive. I got to 90, so I equalized. Equalization was working perfectly, but then I wasn't able to come back, so I blacked out again, and it was pretty deep blackout. Something like similar to this one, 25, 30 meters. My mom was giving me rescue breaths, so I was like foaming with blood, and she was giving me oxygen. And then I was 18 years old, and she was like, and she told me like, okay, you're not gonna do free diving. And I'm like, of course I will. I'll decide I'll decide my own. And basically, I will not listen to you. So my mom was not happy with me doing free diving like back then. Giving rescue breaths.
Right.
So how many times did you black out? Do you know, like?
Some years it's like one blackout per year. Some years it's maybe 2. Some years it's 0. So I free dive for 20 years. You can count.
So when you do a big dive and they say you like shouldn't go on the next day, you should rest, but you do. What is your motivation? Is it just like your body's just telling you I'm ready? And it just feels good to you, or is it like you're wanting to just keep pushing your training?
Well, it depends on the discipline. With fins, usually have faster recovery. With fins, I can go consecutive days. I had.
You just feel like I'm ready.
Yeah, you feel you're ready. With no fins, for sure you have rest day. So fins is easier. No fins much harder. It depends on your level of fitness. If your legs are strong, if you feel like you're ready. Sometimes you might feel ready in general, but then you start to ascend and you feel like you're still not recovered in your legs.
Yeah.
So it's very individual depending on your level of fitness.
So they're just shooting you from their level of understanding, but you're like, I'm fine. So you're just doing it. You just feel good.
Pretty much, yeah. You just you try to be honest with yourself and your own abilities, but sometimes you're mistaken as well.
That's how they learn.
Is there anything that you do in your training that you think not a lot of other people do, or something that kind of sets you apart in a way?
In training,
Eats ice cream.
I do
Sherbert.
that all the time, so I don't know
why that doesn't work. Right? It's a lot of exercises and technique, focused exercises. So I did a lot of tables, CO2 tables, hypoxic tables as well, but I pay a lot of attention to technique, and besides like not only breath holds but also technique. And I was a swimmer since I was a kid, so I did a lot of swimming, and I think just keep doing that. Even though I have good technique, I still try to fine tune it and keep improving that.
Follow up on it was in that transition from the 95 to the 100. So there was that cut going to see the whales and stuff like that. You mentioned that you had a shift in a little bit, and it seemed to have alluded that it was kind of a mental shift. Was there, I guess, is there anything else you can elaborate on that kind of changed in that?
After this blackout, it was a month before this World Championship, and it was quite short period to recover
Right.
from this traumatic experience. And I was, it was not only mental; it was a few, like actually more like five or six elements I was changing. It was warm up. I reduced the warm up even more. My warm up wasn't like a lot before, but I just completely like did. I think it was a minute, like less than a minute dive time for the warm up, like very small warm up. It was recovery between the days, like more rest, a bit more stretching, less strength. So like recovery adjustment, technique adjustment as well, like a bit less powerful arm pulls and kicks, a bit less effort, a bit more frequency. So like tiny adjustment, like 10% adjustment. So that. So altogether it was like 5 elements I focused on, and I was doing like adjustments every day for this whole month. And a month later I was able to do 100 meters clean, and it was
So it
thanks to
was
this adjustment.
technique and all these other.
Yeah, so there was a lot of different elements, technical elements, recovery, mental, and
Ron, oh sorry.
there was
Do you do your CO2 table static or do you, while working out? While doing cardio?
yeah, I usually do CO2 tables in dynamic.
In the
In the pool.
Oh, in the pool.
Yeah, because with the depth you cannot do that. You need time to get rid of nitrogen, so you need to rest a lot. So all these tables, all the exercises for technique, for CO2 tolerance, you need to do in the pool.
Okay.
Just do here and there.
Cardio, you mentioned running. Is there like a specific time that you wouldn't run because it might bother, or does it even bother? Like the breath holding, doing aerobic exercises, or it just good to do anytime?
I wouldn't run like day before competition, but 2 to 3 days, if it's like 20 minutes, 30 minutes recovery, or like just active recovery run, that's fine. It's like light jogging. If there is more time before your max attempt, like a few weeks, you're still in your specialized period, not pre-competition period.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can do more. You can do sprints. You can do running, like 1 hour. Sometimes, like once a week, I will do 1 hour run. But most of my runs will be shorter, just for the basic cardio, like to keep my basic cardio fitness.
So it's good.
It is good. It is good. You don't want to overdo it. If you like fine tune the balance between specialized exercises in the pool, they are more important. So if you don't have time for anything, you want to do pool exercises. That's the main focus. Then if you have more time, you put you add extra trainings, and that's strength training. You want your muscles to be resistant to lactate and to hypoxia. So that will be with strength training, not cardio.
Yeah.
So you prepare your muscles to kick fins underwater, to swim underwater with these exercises, and then you mix some cardio in as well to train your heart. So you do want to train your heart because it's not something that you train while you do strength. When you do strength, there is not much effort. Like it's not a big effort for your heart, right? For this, you need to do cardio. You can do this while you swim. It doesn't have to be running. It can be swimming as well. You can swim, you can run, you can cycle, but you want to train your heart. And when your heart is stronger, just more trained, then it's much easier for you when you hold your breath to adapt to the hypoxia, to the breath hold. So then you can track your resting heart rate, and I can see the difference. When I don't do cardio, my heart rate goes up a little bit. Like when I sleep, my resting heart rate could be 40, 41, 42. Like as soon as I start doing cardio, even a little bit, like 30 minutes, super light. Not even the speed can be 9 kilometers per hour, like 9, 10. So not a lot. Like what is it? Like 6 minutes per kilometer, right?
Yeah.
Something like this. Like not even too fast. And then it drops. Then you can go to 36.
Wow.
And then, which is not the lowest. I learned recently that ultramarathon runners, they have even lower. Some of these guys can have like 28 at night.
Man.
And girls, there was one girl. So you don't need to. The main element is still freediving technique, actual water like water training. All these other elements are additional elements. If you can schedule them, that's good.
There is no harm doing cardio to your.
If you
apnea,
recover,
right?
like there is
Yeah.
harm if you under-recover. If
Yeah.
you overtrain, then there is harm. If you properly recover, there is no harm. This will only benefit you. Then if you have 10 trainings per week, you need to pay a lot of attention to recovery, how you sleep, how you eat, what you eat, and etc.
Yeah, what do you eat
What's your
besides
diet?
ice cream?
That's enough. I just put protein on top. Ice cream and protein.
Do you eat before
With
your
cucumber.
diet?
I don't over obsess with like super healthy diet. I count calories. I do count protein I eat per day, and so 3 main things I track. The first one is protein. How many grams of protein I eat? So it's like if I eat 2 grams per kilo or 1 gram per pound, that's roughly 180, 190 grams of protein per day. So that's a lot. I need to make sure I actually get it. Then it's overall calories, and for me it's just to be recovering properly. If I don't pay attention to this, I might be under-recovering, not enough. If I train a lot, it needs to be 3,000 at least calories per day, and if I don't eat 3,000, I might be just under-recovering. So just making sure I eat that. It's really easy to get 3,000 when you eat ice cream. But then in this calorie budget, you might not have enough space for proper nutrition, right? For proteins and everything. And fibers, like enough fibers. For that, just make sure you have a good variety of vegetables and fruits. And for me, for like my size of human, it will be like roughly 1 kilogram, so 2 pounds of vegetables and fruits per day.
That's a lot.
And the variety, like if you think about it, it should be like a variety of 20, 30 different types in like a week or 2-week cycle. So you don't eat the same thing every day. You want to have different colors, different types, so a good variety. So that's rough, like basic rules for me, and then there's always room for something. Or some sweets.
How do you get that much protein?
Lots of carbs.
Lots of carbs.
Yeah.
How do you eat that much protein? Like, what do you eat? What are your proteins that you eat?
I love cottage cheese. Some cottage cheese with protein powder.
Yeah.
So then you have like already 40 plus 25. You have 65
Okay.
in one portion.
Wow.
Yeah, I love it. I love cottage cheese. Then chicken, then fish, tuna, or something. Yeah, if you have with 2 extra scoops, like so each protein portion is 25 usually. If you buy protein in jars, so 2 of those will be already 50, morning, evening, and then proteins and then other things, and again.
Okay. That's a hard
Yeah.
thing.
So I see a lot of people on their breathe up doing hyperventilation. And can you talk a little bit about like your breathe up and like maybe why hyperventilating is dangerous?
Good.
Yeah.
Do you do it? Honestly?
I don't. No, I don't do hyperventilation for sure.
Because you underbreathe, right?
I breathe very shallow, tidal breathing, with a small pause after exhale, and we do want, like, physiologically we do need normal levels of CO2 in our body to properly adapt the breath hold. As soon as we hyperventilate, we don't have the same oxygen delivery to tissues, and our body will not be adapting or having the blood shift, etc. So in static breath holds, like static guys, they have a bit more room to play with that. So you might see some static breath hold guys who might breathe a bit more, and because you don't move and there's no like muscle movements, there's a bit less like their cost of mistake of this breathe up is less compared to dynamic. Dynamic, because you move, you actively kick your fins or like move with your arms. If your blood shift is not there in time, you just waste much more oxygen than in static. In static you don't move, so it's better to have blood shift earlier, but it's not as bad as in dynamic. So there's a difference, and you'll see you'll see that in the pool. In depth is hard to notice, but in the pool, if you do distance, if you have an earlier blood shift and earlier urge to breathe, your dive is better.
Mhm.
You swim, you have very clear head, and then it's harder. It's a little bit more urge to breathe. Your legs might be heavier because your blood shift is earlier, but then you're more resistant to hypoxia. And if you have actually, like, if your first part of the distance is very comfortable, and it's like more than half of the distance is comfortable, then you find yourself like being very hypoxic and everything is being blurry by the end of the dive, and you can't really control
Mhm.
your own state. So that's why you want to have a bit more CO2, have your dive reflex to start earlier, and
Right.
for that to be clear.
Yeah, because I think people hyperventilate because they're trying to delay contractions to make the dive easier, but
Yeah.
you're delaying the dive response, which
That
is
as well.
the thing that's keeping you safe, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just better to do exercises and CO2 tables in the pool where you adapt
Mhm.
to CO2, so you don't react to them as much. If you do drills, and they don't need to be super hard drills, you just some repetitions with smaller rest. It doesn't need super small rest, but a bit smaller rest, so you have urge to breathe.
Mhm.
And if you focus on relaxation while you have urge to breathe, then it's going to be easier transition during the dive.
So I'm a psychotherapist, and I recently started freediving, wave 2, but ever since I've been absolutely fascinated in the psychological, mental, emotional aspects of freediving. So I'm really curious what your special considerations are, or like best recommendations for like post-dive if it was a traumatic experience. Like, how can you recover from that on all aspects, including psychological?
Traumatic experience during the freediving.
Yes.
Or in life.
No, during freediving,
During
you know,
freediving.
whales about to eat you, you know, something life-threatening.
Just go dive again.
Cancel out
Well, it's there can be a lot of different situations, like whale about to eat you is one thing. You have, like, you can have maybe bad experience while you didn't equalize your ears properly, or maybe you had strong contractions or something, like a blackout or something like that. So a lot of different elements, but you want to, if it's about performance, if it's about your dive, you want to step back, always like take some meters, like maybe it can be 10, 20, 30% shallower dives in the next days, and you want to find the real reason for this mistake, which you believe is true, and be very honest about that. Talk to your trainer, talk to your coach, because if you find a real reason, you believe it's true, then you will go back in the water and you're like, okay, I will solve for this. I will adjust some elements of my preparation or dive. You just need to really believe that it's something that is true, because otherwise, if it's not the real reason, you might still have doubts and you might feel worried before the dive, and that means that you don't really understand what went wrong before, right? So with this example of this traumatic experience in the movie, when I did 103 meters, and it was a blackout, that's an event where you lose confidence, right? You lose confidence and it's hard to get back, and I didn't have much time, and I really worked hard to determine its real reasons why, which I believed were the reason for me to black out. And it's a process, like then you talk to your body, friends, trainer, and you determine the reasons, step back and build. I was doing some trainings going back to 70 meters, then 75, 80, 85, 90. And then while I was doing that, I was like, okay, I feel better. I feel better than before. And that's the process. Just adapting again, like it's psychological adaptation.
So you're using multiple resources to arrive to the truth as to why what happened.
Yes, yeah, because you can rely just on your own analysis, right? You might be wrong, so you think about yourself, you look at the camera, you ask your friends, you ask the coach.
Your therapist?
I'll call you.
So it is getting kind of late. We know people need to get home. Alexei, what would you want to leave us with? We asked you questions. What would you like us to know and walk away with? What's the latest thing that's popped up in your head?
I think I would like everyone to enjoy freediving more, and the way to enjoy freediving is to be very attentive to technique. So you save energy, save oxygen. If you pay attention to that, if you didn't pay attention to this before, think about like improving technique so you can move more efficiently in the water. Then you will enjoy freediving more. So that's first element of enjoying it more, and then second element is don't forget to do breath holds, dry breath holds, and breath work, because that's something all the time we don't do. We just go in the water, but when we actually practice dry and work on our breathing muscles, on our diaphragm, on our mobility of the shoulder area, then it's so much easier to breathe deeper, to get compressed when you dive deep, and just to experience contractions as well. Just do not forget to do breath work, dry breath work, because that's something that helps you to just have easier time in the water. So those two elements will help you, and wish you all to have enjoyable dives and safe dives, and keep training all the time. Freediving is the sport, so you keep practicing week after week, and rest sometimes, of course, but if you want to...
Once every 10 days?
Once every 10 days, one day. But if you want to have more adventures, maybe you want to have not only sports goals, some will have some athletic goals, but others will have some adventure goals. And there are a lot of beautiful locations around the world. There are, like, you can dive with sharks at 30 meters. You need to spend some time at 30 meters to hang out with this variety of sharks, or there's some sneaker sharks, this with a long tail. They're treasure sharks in Philippines, or like it's hard to find them. So you need skills for this, and for this you want to work on the breath holds and work on technique.
Well, thanks for coming, Alexi. If you have any kids at home, you have to take some food leftovers home.